meeting to order. Would you please join me in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Director Forte?
Here.
Director Michelop? Here. Director Von Leopold?
Here.
Vice President Halkett?
Here.
President Howard?
Here. Special announcements and activities.
I have a couple of them. First, we're going to start off with some more employee introductions. So we gave you a big list of names, so maybe I'd like Steve to start, introduce.
All right. President Howard, members of the board, I would like to introduce Eve Walsh. She is our new safety officer. It's unbelievable that it's already been about 2.5 months that she's been here. So it's not quite exactly perfectly new. Kathy comes to us with over 20 years of experience in safety, industrial, what's over here, in environmental health, lots of public and private work, along with consulting, all in industrial and construction type of activities. She most recently worked for an industrial manufacturing facility that made metal bits and pieces for stove pipes and stuff like that. So lots of very mean tools that can really hurt people. At this place, she was the everything of safety from top to bottom.
Awesome, thank you.
Kathy will be back shortly.
Okay, we also have Amanda DuPont. She is our new administrative assistant. She's a shared resources between the engineering services department and the administrative services department. Amanda comes to us with over 5 years' experience as administrative assistant working for Vision Home Healthcare. She's currently working on her bachelor's degree in English at San Jose State University, and today is Amanda's first day.
President Howard and members of the board, I'd like to introduce Clint Byram. A couple of you have met Clint on a tour not too awful long ago, but Clint joined us in August, so I'm bad on not getting him here. But he's been really busy, so we'll take that into account. Before we brought Clint on board, he worked for the city of Morgan Hill for 18 years. The first 10 years he was there, he was an electrician, and then the last 8 years he was their utility supervisor. So he was managing and supervising their water system and their sewer collection system maintenance functions. So he came to us with lots and lots of good experience. He has a certificate in construction management from San Jose State. He has an associate's degree in electrical from Hartnell College. And he's been working toward finishing his bachelor's degree in business administration at Galvan College in Gilroy. And he lives in Morgan Hill with his wife and 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy. And we are very lucky to have him. And he is, of course, supervising our field operations division. So I'd like you to join me in welcoming Clint.
So Dan, maybe while you're up there, could you also do the announcement of Levi?
Oh, sure. Okay.
You have it handy.
Yes. I think in front of you there is a press release and some information. Leroy Fuller, who is our treatment plant operations supervisor, has been with us since 2000, I believe, in the Joint District. He has been named the 2015 Supervisor of the Year by the San Francisco Bay section of California Water Environment Association. And he was nominated for that award by the operators, his employees at the treatment plant. So he just got that award at a banquet that he went to a week ago Friday. He told me that happened to be his wife Ramona's birthday, so he had to make some real concessions to drag her to a CWEA dinner in order to get his award. But we're very happy to have Levi and to congratulate him for his award.
That's great. That's great.
So Some other items going on, obviously this week is Council Week. Dan will be attending, as will Michelle Guardo and a couple of other staff. Cass has issued another call for board members, but I think we're well represented at the time. The Pleasanton Liaison Meeting will be on February 1st, 1:30 p.m. at Pleasanton. The Tri-Valley Water Policy Roundtable will be on February 11th at the Zone at 5 p.m. And the Zone is also having a finance meeting tomorrow night that I or staff have attended. They're actually trying to consider drought limits to implement something that could be, so it's their first step in the process. So that's all I have under announcements.
Okay, thank you. Public comment. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak on an item that's not on the agenda, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll move on to reports.
Okay, at the end of the week, President Howard, board members, the GM job posting will close. Heather's advised us that there's a strong group of applicants already submitted, and the pool is very diverse, so we should have a good pool to select from. We'll get a list of the applicants and start the process with the next board meeting. Moving on schedule. Just for your note, CSRMA, our insurance JTA that Bert's been involved with pretty actively for years, has announced they're going to set up a fraud hotline. You may remember we set up one we used in the district on our own. So the fact that CSRMA is going to set one up, we will be able to or take a bet and save ourselves a couple of grand per year utilizing that program, giving the same benefit to the district and employees. It's really a whistleblowing on any fraud cases. So good program, initiated, another good initiative on behalf of CSRMA for all their members. And an email today from Director Michelov inquiring about financial statement she had in front of her. She noted that capacity fee revenue reported financial, wondering if the numbers were correct. The sewer connection fees are about $3 million over budget already halfway through the year, and water is only about $500,000 over budget halfway through the year. So the numbers are correct. The development's going along. We just came back. Make a brief comment on what you guys see.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of just for the fees and permits for new development, we originally budgeted about $2 million. The board approved that back in June, but by July, we were hearing from the city of Dublin there'd be a lot more development in East Dublin than we had first thought. And so we came back with a budget amendment in August, increased the $2 million up to $2.6 million. And we're at, on just permits and fees, we're at $2.6 million already for inspection, plan checking. We see a lot of inspection activities are going to start here in the next year, depending on the fees up front when the inspection occurs. So that's all going to set to be hit really heavy and be a lot of construction over the next year.
I guess the one thing, we're going to make sure we're very disciplined in where the money goes. And you can see, if you notice in the financial statements, the old 5X is pretty high right now. So I imagine we'll have an interesting discussion at the meeting with the city of Pleasanton. So, and that's all I have.
Agenda management, everything looks pretty straightforward. Committee reports, there really aren't any. And so now we have approval of minutes, the minutes of the meeting of January 5th. Any other discussion? The move and seconded that we approve the meeting of January 5th. Minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. That's caused a problem.
President Howard, before you go forward, 2 bits of correspondence that came to the board. Let's see, one was from a company called AV Capture-All. And basically everybody's out there to make sure that you disclose everything, open government form, seems to be a company looking for services. We're talking about synchronizing access to recordings and agendas. So I will direct that to staff this week for further evaluation. And the other one is on behalf of the Shaw family, notifying us that the candlelight walk and ecumenical prayer service in recognition of Eileen will be held on Thursday, January 28th at 7 p.m. starting at Westminster.
So let's see. Consent calendar would be the next, yes, consent calendar. Just one item, item 8A.
I'll move to approve item 8A.
It's moved and seconded to pass item 8A. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. So that passes unanimously. Board business, item 9A, review and discuss drought management.
President Howard, board members, 9A is our recurring item each month to allow the public to comment on any issue related to the drought. So, if there's anyone that would like to comment.
Been going well.
Keep up the good work.
Item 9B is the...
Yeah, 9B. Okay, well, there's no comments, we'll move on to 9B. Accept the water supply and demand and drought response action plans and find that a need still for a community drought emergency still exists.
President Howard, you noticed in the attachment, I tried to first stab at cutting down the size of the report, but maybe a summary for you. And McIntyre and I listened to an online report from Aqua and State Water. This was the summary. Rainfall is about normal year to date. Snow is slightly above normal at this time of year to date. And the lakes are still in bad shape. You can see ours, Oroville is at 47% norm. As of this morning, it's topped all the way up to 50%. So I think the big issues are we're okay, but it's not filling up the ratio. And I think the state gave every indication we're staying the course right now in the town. Mr. Maddow has provided an update to us on legislative matters. You can see in there, we talked about areas of conservation and where we are these months of the year, and we tend to slack off a little to a flat rate percentage. Talks a little about the water fix legislation, which the governor is very ready to keep moving ahead. Comment about fisheries decline, again, the impact on the delta, and then water transfers being okay and being given some urgency for this year. But remember in an earlier presentation I made is our proposed transfers would go through East Bay Mud, and they are having issues of their own right now, and I'm entertaining them for this year. So that said, the issue, and if you remember anything from the presentation we were watching the other day, but the governor seems to be online with, we're going to stay the course on really an all-promise approach through the rest of the year.
Yeah, the governor highlighted the fact that areas like the Tri-Valley and the Silicon Valley get water from the Delta and the State Water Project, how critical it is to think about that it's not just a Southern California issue, that there's people in the Bay Area that should care about the Delta and the State Water Project challenges.
And of course, he waved up and down and had the update for the 2016 California Water Plan and said, read it. And to read it basically outlines water fix, environment, all the issues that we talked about. So that's the basic report.
And this calls for a motion.
I'll move to accept the request.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Passes unanimously.
Well, I think I would have a further motion to find that if that there exists, is to save the emergency. That is the right declaration.
We will motion was to accept the reports, and so is there a motion to find that there still exists a need to continue the community drought? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? So that passes. Okay, now on to 9C, but presentation from the safety officer.
Thank you, President Howard, and members of the board. I'm happy to be here tonight, and I appreciate this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about our safety program. It almost looks like I knew that. That's a little bit here. So, you want to put
Give us a second. We're trying to use the technology. That's right. They ask you.
Okay, so when a safety professional takes a job with a company or an organization, they look for three different things generally. They look for what the experience modification rate or also what the accident rate is of the organization. They look to see what the regulatory compliance status is. In other words, do you have any fines or outstanding litigation? And they look at the safety culture if there is one. So I have to say that I was very pleased coming on board here that even though our ex-mod rate could be a bit lower, I was happy to see that we do have people that are very committed to safety and have a high awareness of building safety culture in our organization, and that we do not have any OSHA fines to speak to about. So I'm going to talk a little bit tonight first about the EMR. So what is the EMR? Now, the EMR is the experience modification rate. And the definition here says it's the ratio of actual losses, which would be past losses, to expected or future losses over a rolling 3-year period average. In other words, it's a measure of a workers' compensation loss experience, and they use the number 1 as baseline. So if you're above 1, your EMR is high, and your rate will be high for your workers' comp. And if you're below, it's lower than average, so it will have a lower rate. So the most important thing to remember about the EMR is that it is the factor that they use, and all insurance companies agree on this, to determine the workers' compensation premium. So you want to try to stay below 1. Also, I should probably tell you the EMR is calculated against other organizations in your SIC code, so it's supposed to be an apples-to-apples comparison. So how do they calculate this? They use this fancy formula. And yeah, if you like math, I guess that's good, but you just end up taking a number and figuring out how to get better than what it currently is. So, but generally, it's a ratio of your actual losses to what you expect you're going to have, or what they expect you're going to have. And I can't say that they're very optimistic. Okay, so I went back through all of our data from 2005 forward to try to figure out where have we had most of our recordable injuries, OSHA recordable injuries, and how did those come about? And what stood out for me is that we had 54 claims for, or 54 recordable injuries for repetitive motion or soft tissue problems. Other than that, we had 6 lacerations, 4 hearing loss, 3 eye injuries, 2 fractures, 1 contusion, 1 insect bite. So over that year, that 10-year period, we had 71 total recordable injuries. But repetitive motion is the one I was really focused on. And I looked,
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you give an example of a repetitive motion, soft tissue accident?
Yeah, a back strain would be a soft tissue because you're really pulling the muscles over the ligaments. Repetitive motion would be keyboarding a lot, you would do something a lot. Let's say an operator, or I should say maintenance guy that's wrenching on things a lot. That sort of motion that you would do. And if you do that enough in your life, you end up wearing out the joints of the soft tissues that service that. So I looked at the injury mechanisms that right, counted up what we had, and found that single events in soft tissue growth really caused the majority of them, 40 of them. So that would be lifting, pulling, pushing, carrying, things like that. But it'd be a one event, wouldn't be a repetitive motion, it wouldn't be a constant sort of thing. Repetitive motion, we did have 14. We also had 7 struck bys, which means something hit you. Then we had 4 motor vehicle accidents and 4 hearing loss claims and 2 falls.
Do we have a particularly noisy spot?
We have
Actually,
Good.
we have a couple of pieces of equipment, like a vacuum truck, that were really loud. And we do have a couple of places within the facility of wastewater treatment plant where you really offer their hearing protection. And those do have signage now on them, so I'm hoping that, I call these the low-hanging fruit, the noise exposure claims, the eye claims, those are really easy to solve, just make people very easy. So I expect to not have any more of these in the future. So next thing we looked at, I worked with Michelle, and we looked at the EMR over the years. And we couldn't graphically come up real great on that, but our EMR is this. So you can see we kind of put 1 for a few years, below 1, which was very nice. And then we had a sudden jump, and CSM RMA average is the yellow line, ours is the green line. So we climbed pretty quickly there in about 3 years. When I looked at the stats for that, I could see that it was around 2010 when we started to see things really jump. And interestingly enough, I also saw though that CSRMA's average jumped up quite a bit too. So it went from 0.85 to 0.94 in a 1 year period. So I'm wondering if some of all the other members of CSRMA also have higher accident rates than for that period. So it's kind of it's an interesting anomaly, but I don't know that it means that much. But for us, what it means is the last 4 years we've had a real jump in accidents, reportable injuries, and we need to make that stop. So how are we going to do that? Well, that's why we have me coming in to try to help out here. So to improve the XMOD, we have to have a better theory of loss prevention. You know, you can always work with things when you have a loss. You can try to mitigate things through evaluation of the injury itself, return to work, those kinds of programs. But it's always better if you can prevent it from happening in the first place. And to do that, you need to identify your hazards and eliminate your hazards to the best of your ability. And that's what I plan on doing this year. So I'm putting focus very much on what are the hazards of each of our job classifications and the tasks that they perform. Write out the SOPs, the standard operating procedures for those, and the job hazard analyses for those, and sit down and figure out how do we prevent the incident from occurring from this operation. It's really important, especially right now, I think, to get after the soft tissue claims, the repetitive injuries. So each new employee that we hire, we're doing an ergonomic analysis on their workstation or what tasks they're assigned to do every day. So we can try to jump on that from day 1. The loss of occurring. Incident and accident analysis, I think is going to be a little bit more in-depth than it has been in the past. I'd like to be able to generate some metrics so you can really look at things over the years and compare apples to apples in that way. And then, of course, we need to consider the characteristics of our workforce. We have an aging workforce, and it's just true that when you have a really young workforce and they're new to the job, or you have an older workforce and they're hitting 50s, 60s, you're going to have more reported cases of incident and accident. The young ones, because they don't know what they're doing very well yet, and the older ones because our bodies wear out. So since we have a large number of people that are over the age of 50, I think that we need to really address soft tissue and repetitive motion ergonomic analysis. Also for the ergonomic evaluations, I think we ought to have identification of certain tasks that are likely to cause injury so that we know up front what we're dealing with. We need to purchase some equipment, especially for desks and maybe some vibration gloves and things like that out in the field for people. And I'd like to see us develop a health and wellness program. I encourage supervisors to always do a 5 or 10 minute talk in the morning to the crews and cover one little safety topic, the tasks of the day, what hazards they need. And while they're doing this, we have a stretch and flex program going on. I incorporated that for the construction company and it worked really, really well for us. I was very happy with the results. And, it works in manufacturing as well. The Japanese have been doing it forever. And along with the 5S implementation, it really does help companies accident rate. But I really want people to start thinking about avoiding injury. So, next one would be compliance. And how are we going to improve our compliance? Water compliance is pretty good, and I'm not unhappy with that. But what I'd like to see us do is we do have some new regulations that have come down in the last 6 months that, and more that are coming, that we're going to have to incorporate into our program. Cal OSHA just adopted new compliance space entry requirements, so we're going to have to adapt our program to those. And new fall protection rules will be coming out later this year. So there's just 2 of the things that we'll have to think about. We'll have to do that, and I really would like to get people to think about these changes as a continuous improvement program for us. A way of making sure that we can evaluate and update our existing programs to meet our current needs. We have plenty of great programs already on the books in the safety department. People before me have done a fine job of doing that. But we do need to update, and I think we should probably consolidate some things too. So I think that's going to be another task for me to do this year. Also, I want people to understand the idea of accountability. You know, I'm responsible for the safety of the organization, but each and every individual is responsible as well for their own personal safety. And I'd like to have people take that attitude. So if you see a hazard, own the hazard, and fix the hazard. But don't wait for someone else to come along and take care of it. I think very often we tend to see something like a cord on the floor that has been picked up with a person who did the job with the cord, and so we just walk over it, walk by it. We don't actually just go ahead and coil it up ourselves. But I want people to take that attitude of we all are affected by an accident rate, and so we really need to take care of these things when we see them. And then for training, I'd really like to target the training to fine-tune it to the tasks that people are doing. So you can have a general, let's say, standard operating procedure for how to use, say, a telescoping camera for the line. But is it really pertaining to what they're doing right now? So that's why I want to go out and monitor job sites, see what people do, figure out how do I make this actually work for us. So it's great to have a paper safety program. I think it should be very compliant, and so you're not going to get a fine if OSHA comes out to inspect you. But it means more when it's a living safety program and involves with people and just the change in tasks as you go along. That's what I really want, a living safety program. I'd like to eventually move beyond compliance for us, grow our safety culture, and start using leading indicators. Right now we use lagging indicators to measure our early event. So we measure the EMR, for example, or we measure how many incidents we've had with chemicals and things like that. Those are lagging indicators during the past. What I want to do is try to have us do first aid logs at every first aid kit so that I understand where we're getting little owies, so to speak. I did this in the manufacturing facility and it worked very, very well. There was no identification of who had the cut or who had the burn or whatever it was they needed a first aid kit for, but they would write down how they did it, how did it happen, where did it happen. And I would take those logs and I could figure out where my next larger incident or accident was going to be and how to target my efforts then in that particular department or in that particular unit to keep that from happening. It's very, very useful. That's one of them. And also near miss reports. I'd like to get our supervisors trained to use near miss reports so that they can report that, oh, we almost had an accident and this is how it almost happened. Because if we can understand the factors that we do that, then we can keep that from happening in the future, which is the most important part. Safety should not be about blame. It should not be punitive. It should not be me walking around with a checklist all the time saying, you're doing that wrong. That's not what I want. I want people to be able to communicate together and talk about the job before they perform it, to identify the risks that they may face, and for us to work together to take care of those risks. And lastly, safety culture. You know, safety used to be, in the old days, it was the compliance officer, it was the person with the checklist walking around and all that. And safety culture, though, is something different. It takes elements of psychology and science and just basically people behavior. And it tries to enmesh that with the rules that we're supposed to work with. And so we have a really good existing injury and illness prevention plan. And I'd like to make that our master plan, our umbrella, if you will, for all of our other programs. I want to make safety so easy for our supervisors that if they need to do a certain job, all they have to do is go to the IIPP on the website, and they'll see the list of the forms they need to get permits to make that job. Say a hot work permit for welding, or if they're using a crane pick, things like that. So I want to make it very, very easy for them to be safe, because every time we fill out one of those permits, we'll be thinking about the safety of that job. And that's why filling out permits is so important. But I want to make it as easy as possible. Also do the SOPs for those particular jobs and activities, the safety analyses, and other things. I'm trying to build within the office space I have. I'd like to make it our safety resources room, where people can come and do some online training or computer-based training, or talk to me about a program they want to do, things like that. I want it to be an open exchange area, not just my office. I want to see it as a resource to all of the employees here at DSRSD. And my biggest push, I think, is going to be convincing our supervisors and managers to take safety training. If you can have safety training from top down in an organization, the people up here understand how useful it is and meaningful and how much it saves money and life, then you're going to have everyone below them who works for them with the same attitude towards safety. It's contagious. So I really want to put together a safety training program for our supervisors and have it run throughout this next year. And so that's pretty much my take on our safety program. I'm very pleased with what we've done so far, but I certainly like to move us into the next level.
Great. Awesome.
Any questions? Thank you.
So that, any questions on item 9C? Move on. Very well. Let's move on to item 9E, presentation on the outreach. Where is this?
It's on the desk, down at the board. Okay, so this is about communicating to our influential public, and I need to point out that in your packet, you have a short list and a long list. The short list are the folks who are currently receiving these weekly emails. The long list are suggestions for who we might expand the list to. And of course, the question to you is, who would you like to add or take off the list or whatever? And people can self-select. So the purpose for this outreach effort is we have a lot of things coming down the pike, things that have big price tags, water supply reliability, indirect potable reuse, possibly demonstrating a biosolids to energy project on our facility. So all these things are things that you want to feel comfortable when you're deciding to spend millions of dollars, that the community is supportive of it. So the more that the community and our community leaders can have a finger on the pulse of what we do here at DSRSD, the better. So that's what we're trying to do. So number one on the list is appropriate investment, then building relationships with our community leaders, enhancing our transparency and public participation. So the folks we want to communicate with are the folks who are, elected officials, community leaders, whether they're, organizations or, like DERWA, the board folks, LAVMA, our, sister agencies that we interact with regularly, all those folks. So we want to be sure that they, know what's going on. And so look at the long list. if you have suggestions, let me know about that. Basically, it's individuals that you look to for support. When you are, with your friends or colleagues or whatever, and someone's giving you a hard time, maybe they need to be on the list, so that they get it maybe a little bit better than they would just reading the newspaper or whatever. So this is a direct email. By the way, we did not send out emails on the weeks of Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's for obvious reasons. I don't think people are that interested in reading about us, so we didn't bother during those times. So what we communicate, it's policy level kinds of decisions. It's diversifying our water supply, lowering water consumption rates from stage 2 to stage 1. By the way, that got the most hits when the email line says, DSRSD lowers rates. That one got opened by more people than any of the others, so it matters. Money matters. I'm sure you all know this anyway, but interesting, meaningful information like a new member on our board, the new president of the board. People like to see who's running things, who's governing us, the budget and brief, money, things like that. Compelling events, the national campaign for Imagine a Day Without Water, that had the most click-throughs. So, go figure. So the logistics of what we do, we try to do these on Wednesdays because our board meetings are usually Tuesdays. But tomorrow's will go out, or tomorrow the DSRSD Today email will go out because our board meeting's Monday night. So, there are other weeks when obviously there isn't a board meeting before the email goes out, but there's a lot of stuff that you do in a board meeting. So, if it's not as timely, we'll hold it a week and put it out the next week. But we have 4 opportunities to communicate our message. The email subject line is the first opportunity, then the header on the text, then the actual text. Then if we use a graphic or a picture or a chart with a caption, so some people are more prone to read charts and get it. Some people are more prone to just read headlines. They don't read the rest, even though the theory is this is a 30 to 60 second read. So we're not asking a whole lot of time from people, just enough to, once a week, get a little push from us as to here's what we think is important that you should know about DSRSD. So this is our website, and these drop-down menu that you see, your dollars at work, this is where a lot of the click-throughs are. This is a great
So what do you mean by click-through?
click-throughs. In the email message, it might say for more information, or it's a blue highlight, people can click on it. So we see the subheading, investing for the future. That's where we're spending a lot of money, those items. Protecting public health and the environment, increasing efficiencies, increasing savings. These are all standards that motivate us. These are, why we do things the way we do things. So it's very fundamental messages that we want to communicate to our public. We want people to feel comfortable, to feel that, we're planning well, we're, making financial decisions that are very solid, that this is a well-run organization. So that when you go out to them for a bond issue or for a very controversial issue or whatever, they have comfort that what we're doing is the right thing. So, that's the theory. And so so how we get feedback, we surveyed recipients. We got one survey response out of 15, but people are busy, they have other lives, I get it, it's okay. We also have a little bit of analytics, so we can see that we're averaging about 40% of the people who are being sent these emails actually open them up and read them. So, that's the high flyover. So, any questions?
So is this the, excuse me, I'll mention, vision. So is this the entire vision list or just the?
The short list is the folks, there are 2 lists. So attachment 2, those are the folks who are receiving emails currently, weekly emails. And the emails, we call them DSRSD Today. So that's the current list. The longer list, which is attachment 3, it should say potential distribution list.
Is there a place on our website for anybody who wants to
Anybody?
subscribe?
Good question. Perfect. Yes. In fact, we are using our current Vision Internet content management system, and that includes the ability to send out these emails so people can self-select. You can go on our website and you can say, hey, I want to get this. And we have, of the 15, 4 are self-selected, 11 we identify. And I think that based on the email, it's hard to tell, but I think one's a realtor and one's a banker, and the other two I don't know. That's a guess.
Is there a limit to the size of the list you'd like to see?
Nope, there's no limit. It's all electronic, it's very easy. Once we, put someone's name and address in each week, it's real easy to push the button and send out the emails. That's part of what you paid for when you bought the new content management system for our website. So we're making use of all our bells and whistles, or we're trying to.
So, Sue, on the potential attachment 3, do these people know that they have that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, we said, when we started with the small list, I called everyone and talked to them. With the longer list, we'll probably send them an email that says, would you like to be, added to this? And on every single email, you can unsubscribe.
Yeah, so not that.
If at some point you decide after 2 or 3, I don't want to be bothered, you just unsubscribe. So that's on every single email. And there's also on every single email, they can contact me if they have comments or, have something to say. I had one, and it was, don't ask a question. And the one email where the subject line, we asked a question, got the fewest opens. Go figure. So we're learning, it's a new process, we're learning and improving hopefully as we go along. But, if you want to think about it and send me emails of, folks who you think should, or you can send them to the website. I will write up how they can go online and sign up for themselves. So I'll send that out, I'll get that out to you.
So basically, what direction do you think maybe we should go on this?
Yeah,
Does it go to all the electeds?
Yeah, I wouldn't step too lightly. I mean, if it was me, people can and will unsubscribe
Yeah,
with one click if they want to. If it was
Yep.
me, anybody on here, anybody on this list who's elected, I would remove them all.
okay,
Look at their first email, they don't want to be there. I mean,
right.
somebody put me on all the cities' list, because I had all their agenda packets. I didn't sign up for any one of them.
Right.
I don't mind, fine.
Right,
So anybody who's elected is fair game, in my opinion.
okay, okay. And there might be some other community leaders, people who are active in Lions Clubs or Optimist Rotary. They're hard to find because they don't have online, and they're hard to find. So if you know folks, yeah, just let me know, and we can add to the list. There's virtually no limit.
Between the 5 of us, we know quite a few.
We've got some names for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's the theory.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You don't want to neglect the private sector because we have.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I wasn't, I know I meant that. I just knew that I can enroll these guys and they're not going to yell at me. Some other, or they may, and I'll just go, talk to Sue.
Well, and the first email, before we send them an actual DSRSD Today email, we will send them an email that says, we have this weekly push communications, usually comes out Wednesday morning, takes about 30 to 60 seconds to read. If you're interested, let me know and I'll sign you up, or you can go online and sign up yourself. So we'll give them an option.
Key is it's kept simple. So
Yeah.
if they know if there's something going on, they want to dig deeper, they can.
Right, right.
It's good timing for this.
Yeah, we figured there's a lot coming down the road.
This is, you said it was weekly?
Weekly, except like holiday, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, we didn't. And if we don't have anything to say, I guess we won't, but usually there's a lot going on.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking of is, I get a lot of emails for commercial stuff, for accounts. And it seems like some of them just send me too much. And it was just less frequent, like once a week is fine, I guess,
Right.
daily. And it gets me.
It'll be once a week or less. Every now and then we'll skip a week. So, yeah. And we figure 30 to 60 seconds to read it. That's the deal. Okay? Thank you.
Questions? Okay, moving on to item 9E, information on LAFCO.
Yeah, so this pertains to the potential groundwater injection of our demineralized reverse osmosis water. LabCo has a report on the issue. And as you may recall, as part of our alternate water supply study, the board approved last groundwater injection and reverse osmosis water is something that's being reconsidered by DSRSD. Certainly it's being discussed right now in public forum and water policy roundtables, and even Zone 7 in their draft water supply evaluation is exploring that option. So interestingly enough, at LABCO last year, an issue was raised. One of the LABCO commissioners, Tom Pico from Pleasanton, raised the issue of LABCO. Do they have any jurisdiction or authority over the injection of water in groundwater basin? And the matter was referred to Alameda County Council, and the answer was an unambiguous no. Decision, because the injection of groundwater, reverse osmosis groundwater by DSRSD or Zone 7 or another water agency is within the purview, the charter of those agencies to do that function, and would probably be located within their jurisdictional boundaries, and therefore there's no criteria for LABCO to have any say on that. So,
Yeah,
just
quite an
interesting
interesting
information.
argument to bring this up, you know. Well, we all know Mr. Pico quite well and what he thinks of injection, but it was interesting. He was trying to convince the attorney, of course, that it was a new service, and we all know it's not a new service, it's just a new method.
Well, in light of who brought it up and where it came
Yeah.
from, it felt appropriate to
Yeah.
bring to your
Thanks
attention.
for the morning, that's
We'll move on to item 9F, discuss Zone 7's water supply evaluation.
So this is just a brief overview of the Zone 7 water supply evaluation, a very detailed, lengthy study. They did at their Water Resources Committee last week do a long PowerPoint presentation on the water supply evaluation. I'm going to spare you the death by PowerPoint tonight and just some of the highlights, but their PowerPoint is included in your packet. So the state mandates water wholesalers like Zone 7 and water retailers to complete urban water management plans every 5 years to kind of look at both supply and demand for water. And Zone 7's urban water management plan is pending. As a guide document to provide some technical background for that report, Zone 7, at its own option, does this annual this 5-year water supply evaluation to look primarily at water supply, what is its reliability relative to demands, and a number of scenarios. The study is actually quite sophisticated, particularly compared to the 2011 report, which was a good report. The 2011 report looked at one water supply portfolio, basically the as-is current plan for water supply, and looked at one main scenario and a couple of alternative scenarios. The current plan actually looks at 8 different scenarios and takes a look at 4 different water portfolios. And how do those portfolios work under different assumptions? Of the 8 scenarios they look at, though, Zone 7 notes that the current water supply does not meet Zone 7 water reliability criteria for 2 of the 8 scenarios. And the assumptions of those scenarios are, 1, that there might be further deterioration in the Delta situation, either environmental issues, regulatory issues, legal lawsuit issues that might jeopardize the water supply through the Delta and the State Water Project. And secondly, they look at a potential delay in the implementation of what's called the California Water Fix. So rather than being done in as early as 2028, if that was converted to 2040 or later, in those 2 circumstances, the as-is current water supply plan does not meet Zone 7's water policies. So under these 2 scenarios, Zone 7 looks at some alternate water portfolios. The 3 other portfolios they look at are the existing state water project, soon to be fixed, and they add desalination. It's a regional project. Another portfolio is they look at the existing system with an improved delta and have potable reuse, whether indirect potable reuse or direct potable reuse, whether that's by reservoir augmentation or groundwater injection of reverse osmosis water. And then the 4th portfolio is the state water fix put into place, and desal, and water reuse. The zone notes that further studies are going to be necessary, that some facts are known, that there are other issues in the Delta that are not yet fully understood. We don't know how certain legal and regulatory and project development processes are going to proceed. So the Zone 7 staff suggests further study of the potable reuse concept, whether that's direct potable reuse or indirect potable reuse. One thing that was particularly interesting in the Zone 7 presentation was that the issues or the metrics of local control and diversification, those importance, those were discussed in the water policy roundtables. They acknowledge that. However, they note that those are not part of the Zone 7's core mission. They identify it as kind of second-tier, less important criteria for measuring how well their portfolio will perform in different scenarios. It should be noted that this is inconsistent with our DSRSD adopted policy, which given the state water projects uncertainty and the Delta uncertainty, we see local control and diversification of the water supply as being critically supportive of reliability. In essence, we know certain things, they are a part of reliability. So I've made that argument with Zone 7, and we'll see where they end up on their water supply evaluation. The water supply evaluation overview will be given by Zone 7 staff at the February 11th Water Policy Roundtable. So you'll see the presentation you had in your packet tonight. You can see the full, long, lengthy presentation on that. Water Policy Roundtables will provide us an opportunity to support the idea of a joint feasibility study for potable reuse. The idea to get all the agencies together and go out and explore different potable reuse options. I had thought that the Zone 7 board would be, the full Zone 7 board would be getting a presentation on the water supply evaluation this week. Turns out they've actually postponed that, and that won't show up on the full Zone 7 board agenda until February 17th. DSRSD is going to have the opportunity to comment on a public draft of the final urban water management plan, the regulatory required document that this is the foundational piece of, and that's going to be happening in February. We'll be giving written comment, we'll be checking with the board on that as well. So with that, staff's available to answer any questions.
I know this is not your report, it's there, so I'm going to ask, if you look at page 3, these, some of this costing. I'll look again. So, one, I know we've all thought about this a little bit. Do you remember seeing some, well, first question, for the water fix, that seems to be, that's the incremental cost. So that's the extra that can spend for the fix per acre foot to get to a.
Yes.
So what would, it seems like an apples to oranges comparison, I'm sure. So they're doing incremental cost to get Delta water, and then they have an all-in cost to get the other kinds of water.
Well, that's true, but basically they're saying if the Delta water fix gets put into place, that's going to be at least another 10,000 acre-feet of reliable water supply that they don't currently have. What they're saying with desal and with potable reuse, about a comparable amount of acre-feet of those, maybe 5,000 acre-feet or so of each would be done. So I think the costs are comparable. One of the interesting issues, and I raised that with their water resources subcommittee, is some of the new water supply projects here in the Tri-Valley might be allocated to new development, whereas the Delta fix is pretty much in Zone 7 on some users. So I say there is a bit of an apples to oranges comparison there, and how might some of these projects be funded, because the state water fix is, gets implemented. I mean, that's going full speed ahead, and the ratepayers will have to take a on that.
Yeah, there's an interesting way one can see. A nice thing about this portfolio approach is it then gives us different costs for different water. It becomes a lot easier to defend, inclining rates. Water costs X for this population, and now to go find more water is going to cost X plus something. That makes it a lot easier to make that argument.
Yes, but certainly in the case of desal and potable reuse, some of those marginal costs are becoming, getting closer and closer to just what the average cost of providing water from the state water project after the Delta fix is implemented. So there's there's a comparability in this. It's not a wide variation that may have been in past years.
And I think that's a key one. We were talking about when we first looked at this, the water rate in zone is now 13. And we put almost 500 miles. And I still.
That's where I was kind of headed.
I
There's
think-
incremental costs, so the all-in cost of state water project.
And I think there's still other costs coming down from the state water project that relate to past programs that haven't hit the zone. And that's based on what we see through Doherty Valley, the Doherty Valley Assessment District. So Dan said, we're all going to be up at that level.
So your point is accurate. The state water project is spreading the cost over all the water they sell, not the increment of additional reliable water supply that they will have. So you're right, we have an apples and cucumbers comparison.
Yeah, so just something to keep, I would never, who's here? I would never hint that the report might be biased towards a certain conclusion, but, that kind of left that up me. The other one is, I'll show you guys, I'm sorry, I'm pretty passionate about this subject. The other one, and I asked for it, and I knew I wasn't going to get it at the forum, there really needs to be a portfolio D that has the state picks unchecked, and all the other boxes checked, and then figure out what we're going to do when the state picks never happens.
And so I had a chance to sit down with their project manager and critique their report, just in a one-on-one situation over a couple of hours. And I made that point. And in their modeling, when they're looking at the scenario where the state water fix isn't implemented till 2040, that's occurring 15 years after build-out. And so their computer modeling is looking out pretty far. So the 2040 assumption, delaying that part of the California water fix, is pretty close to an assumption of the Delta fix never happens. I was satisfied that there was a comparability in how the model results would play out.
But they're moving one part of the portfolio to a scenario, and they're keeping again, it just seems to be out of place. So under scenario 8, then, since all these rely on the Delta fix, they all fail? Or some fail, some others?
No, so what they're saying is, if there's not further deterioration in Delta and development occurs at an ordinary pace, and some, bad assumptions don't come into place, many of the scenarios, they say they can meet the water supply, so they can meet average reliability. So, 85% of the years, they'll meet average demand with no conservation at all. Even in a severe drought like a 2014 kind of water year, they'll be able to achieve 85% of their water delivery in most scenarios. It's only in the case of no Delta fix and deteriorating conditions, those two things happen, where they'll fail on those criteria.
Then the very last one, I promise. Everywhere they talk about interties, seems to be in relation to an emergency. It seems kind of opposed to the concept of intertie being another normal way to get water into this region.
Right, so they're not looking at it as a permanent source, but perhaps, one option is storing some contingency water, for example, Los Vaqueros, and then you wheel it through Costa Water, East Bay Mud, and bring it down when needed. So, that would be like a 1 year in 20 event, but it's not an ongoing transmission system into the Tri-Valley. And that in and of itself runs afoul of one of our policy statements in the water supply and transmission policy, which is we'll have two potential avenues to deliver water to the Tri-Valley and have it occur on a more regular basis. And their study doesn't quite go that far in its assumptions.
So we'll keep pushing. Jeff, we'll keep doing that.
You have to assume that they really do not want to. Because for that, consider it as being a part of a regular resource, they do not want to.
So they're now to
Consider
the point
that.
where in their capital budget, they're assuming a intertie exists, but they're not saying specifically that a water supply will be set up, ready to go through that transmission pipe, that emergency intertie. So that's the detail that would have to be worked out, depending on the timing of the perhaps they would look for some other water rights to provide through that intertie. But I think they're imagining that intertie will get built sometime within the next 10 years. But then there's the supply delivered through the intertie that needs to be worked out.
Yeah, and just, the verbiage in the report around anything talking about interties is always in the terms of emergency, something will turn on only when we want to do this as breaks.
That is the thinking in the full longer version of the study.
The numbers for desalinization and potable reuse, are they zone 7's projections or are they
Yeah, they
rely
are.
on other sources?
They're their projections, but they've looked at some of the same information we included in our alternate water supply. There's little variations in the numbers, and it depends on the number of acres they picked out, assumed treatment plant size, and distribution system size, and it really needs further study. And hopefully, as part of the water policy roundtable process, we'll have agreement amongst the retailers, the wholesaler, and the cities to go and do kind of a more refined, detailed study. And there seems to be some support for that in the water policy roundtables. Hopefully, we'll see some more support for that, and the agencies will sign on the dotted line for that effort over the next 12 to 18 months.
We're going to meet one more time before that policy meeting. Do we want to have, between then and here, their committee will see this? Resources committee or?
Their board is going to get the report after the next water policy roundtable. So 3 of their board members have seen it in the Water Resources Committee, but the full board won't receive this until after the water policy roundtable on the 11th of February.
So as part of the first talk about it again for that meeting, if there's any specific marching orders, the rest of the board, the people who are either, feel free to give them. Otherwise, we'll play nice and I won't make Stevens as angry as I did last time.
It doesn't take much to make you angry.
Any other comments? Okay, then we'll move on to item, let's see, there's no motion. Move on to item 9G, food nomination for Mr. Edward R. Duarte.
Oh, President Howard. Well, this one started off as an easy one until we got into our own policies. And Nicole had to do some unraveling. So what we're asking you to do is approve the nomination of Director Duarte to be a member at large for the Concord House Special Districts Association. Then authorize him to be the voting delegate when he goes, in spite of the fact that our policy appoints the general manager to them. And then the Concord House Special Districts Association will not finalize their ballot, their slate, until the day of the hearing. So we can't present you who to vote for. So the final item is to give Director Duarte the criteria to be followed that we've used in the past in carrying out the vote. So we started off with approve Director Duarte, and it's kind of evolved into a 3-step process on here that we're seeking direction. Is there any questions? I'll try.
My question is, I thought we weren't allowed to vote at Concord House because Alameda was our primary county.
We called, and the implication was, so maybe a question, we set it up and we're able to go, they throw handcuffs on Director Duarte.
The old thing, ask for forgiveness. Yeah. I so many that we allow or offer our nomination for the director at large for Ed for the Crossroads Special Districts Association. And I will second.
So we just, in fact, then authorize him to cast the vote follow the directions.
Authorize them to cast the vote.
But you're going to do that soon anyway.
All right, so we have a motion, I think. And a second.
And I'll still second it.
Still second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. So that passes. Okay, now, board member items. Anyone have any announcements?
I had one meeting to report on. Last week was the Oklahoma County Special Districts Association meeting at AC Transit in Oakland, and that day in particular happened to be one of the worst commute days on 580. It took me over an hour to get to Oakland, and making it unusual. We can get there in half an hour or less. In fact, Dan, waiting a half an hour earlier, made it in a half an hour. But half of the board, or half of the members were late because of the traffic. But so it was kind of appropriate to be in AC Transit that particular day. I missed the AC Transit's coverage. I don't know that he necessarily said anything that would pertain to our board or that we would care about, other than they have all these new buses. But with the wheels out here, we don't use AC Transit very much. But the next one was a gentleman from MTC, which was very interesting in terms of the amount of things going on. You know, MTC still believes that, as with ADAC, that everything should be in the 9 Bay Area counties, and we all should be, hugging everybody and hugging all the trees and working together. They never quite talk about how we're going to get there, although he did talk about 2013 projection that said in order to solve the problem, it was going to be about $200 billion. Now, it's hundreds of billions short. We all know that with infrastructure costs, they're ridiculous. We'll never fix everything. I think that's really all that we talked about. We didn't talk about, again, and I told you before, we had talked about raising wages. We didn't talk about that there. We have $4,600. We did get Eric Swalwell as our speaker in March, and that's our next meeting, is the annual dinner, March 26th. So make sure that our staff and our city can sign us up. And I think that's about it. Let's give me some questions. Do you have anything further to add?
Anyone else?
Yeah, I was going to read you a very short 2 sentences. I received, I'm going to talk about emails from elected officials. This is from Supervisor Mary Ethel in Clackamas County. In response to an announcement yesterday by the California Department of Water Resources regarding a tentative agreement to begin construction of Governor Brown's tunnel plan, the Delta Counties Coalition issued the following statement. With no notice or collaboration despite numerous opportunities, including a public meeting, we attended yesterday with Governor Brown and Resources Secretary Laird. The region most affected by this plan for taking additional water from the Delta was never consulted or even made aware of this outrageous plan to begin construction before mandatory environmental review is completed, said Sacramento County Supervisor, Chair of the BCC, Dr. Donato. Apparently, they are entering into the design and construction management agreement already for the Twin Tunnels. So, what can I say? Okay.
If you watch the governor's comments here,
Executive
full
order.
speed ahead. For his words, the last meeting, when you spent the day and hours like we have, then you can make a comment, otherwise shut up.
All right.
California Emergency
We have a
Services Act.
dictator.
Okay, so now it's on to item 11. This time the board will be going into a closed session for that matter as described on the agenda as item 11A. This broadcast will be stopped now as it is anticipated there will be no report from the closed session. If there is any report from the closed session, it will be announced in open session at the end of this meeting. You may contact the district secretary during regular business hours for any of that information. Thank you and good night.
Night.